Hello viewers and welcome to this edition of Asian Vibes. Today I would like you to meet Robby Ahuja, an inspiration behind a very compelling story, making a very passionate journey. Welcome Robby. So nice to see you again, and it's always a pleasure. Last time we met was at the India night.
Yes, it's awesome. I'm very privileged to be here.
Thank you, Roy. Thank you so much for your time. So Robby, journeys fascinate me.
Yeah.
So today I would like you to share with us your journey. And so let's start from the very beginning. What brought you to Thunder Bay?
Well, if I start from the journey, what brought me here was, I growing up, I started getting into a lot of trouble. I didn't feel like I fit in and stuff. Like my parents worked a lot, and they were trying to make a future for us here in this country, and so they both worked a lot of jobs. So I did a lot of.
So you moved from India?
Well, no, my parents moved here from India, yeah. And then so I grew up, with my parents both working full time and long hours. So I did a lot of watching TV and, just running around on the streets and playing hockey and, the things that kids do.
Natural, yeah.
Yeah. But in that, I seem to have started getting myself into trouble and watching, getting involved in, getting in trouble in school and just things like that. And it just led to me getting I started smoking at a young age and drinking, and then by the time I was 13, 14, I was starting to get into a lot of trouble, and it was hard for my parents to try to control that.
So when was this? This was in Thunder Bay when you moved to Thunder Bay?
No, this was in Abbotsford, BC, and then so what happened was, and then from there on, like I lived in Abbotsford till I was 29 years old. That's when I came to Thunder Bay. But I was just the journey that brought me to Thunder Bay was so I from a young age I started 13, 14, started doing drugs and getting into trouble, and then started stealing and just as you can see by some of my mug shots there that like I got arrested a lot of times, and then between the ages of 16 to 24 I just kept getting into trouble and just was going down the wrong path. I had dropped out of school. My parents tried everything they could to try to help me. My parents are a loving home, good marriage. Like my sisters were came through the same circumstances. They both have good jobs, good educations, and here I was, just this misfit that just kept getting further and further into trouble. And what happened was I was so far gone and so addicted to drugs that my parents, they didn't know what to do with me, and I heard about this program called Teen Challenge. And so what happened was I went to Teen Challenge, and then after I completed the 1-year program, there was an opportunity in Thunder Bay. First, they needed some help in Thunder Bay. So I talked to my family, and my parents were like, hey, we're happy you changed your life. If you want to move to Thunder Bay, we'll help you and support you in any way. What do we need to do to help? And so that's how it started. So I moved here to work in a temporary 6-month interim position in Teen Challenge. Who would have known that 6 months turned into now 10 years?
10 years in Thunder Bay, yeah.
Yeah.
So, and tell us, how was growing up? Growing up in terms of what about your cultural roots, and how did you
very
practice?
Involved with cultural roots, like my parents, all the different celebrations my parents did growing up, and it's actually funny, there's still a couple that I follow still today.
Which are
one
those?
Is called Ruckery Day. I'm not sure the exact name, but that's how I pronounce it, is Ruckery Day.
What's the significance of it?
And my sisters, they call me, on that day, and they tie a bracelet on me, and just.
So it's a Rocky Day.
Yeah. Oh, is it Rocky?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
So we still honor that, and then and it's you have these different weddings and stuff, and it's so fun to get dressed up and just the amount of family and gathering and celebrations that we do. That
the values that a family the family brings along with.
Yeah.
So tell us, what are you doing now?
So, right now I'm the director for Teen Challenge of Northwestern Ontario. So I wasn't planning on doing that. It just kind of was like, hey, I'm going to come to Thunder Bay and then I'm going to go home. But
you started as an intern for 6 months.
Yes. And then what happened was I then met my wife, and that was when I got married. But what I'm doing for Thunder Bay Teen Challenge right now is I oversee Northwestern Ontario, and so we have a men's home that we have on the corner of Syndicate and Ridgeway, where we have men 18 and up with a life-controlling addiction. They live with us for a year, And then we do different youth works in the community, like we share at churches, schools. We have work with the Youth Drop-In Center where kids come from northern communities, after school programs, stuff like that, where they come in and we help them just have social fun stuff that doesn't have to do with drinking or alcohol and stuff like that. Yeah, and then we're also, we've started women's stuff for Teen Challenge as well. We have outpatient meetings that we do once a week with women, and then we're also now weekly going into the women's jail.
So this is the initial, is there a time frame for each of these programs, or it's a minimum 6 months to?
To get into the men's home, it's a 1-year minimum program, but the other ones, they're all specific. Like some are just drop-in, there's no commitment. Some are 9 weeks, once a week. Some are one-on-one, basically. So they're all different.
So Teen Challenge has offices all over Northwestern Ontario, or is it?
Well, Teen Challenge has one office in Northwestern Ontario, but we do different things in different communities, but our main office is here. But we are a world renowned program.
A global organization?
Yeah, so we have over 1,300 Teen Challenges in 118 countries. We actually have 2 in India, one in Mumbai and one in Lucknow. And they are looking at opening a Teen Challenge in Punjab.
In Punjab.
And so I'm really excited about that because I've offered my services.
Oh, really?
Because I speak Punjabi.
Yeah.
And I also speak English. So I've emailed Global Teen Challenge and let them know when they get further into the development of the Punjab Teen Challenge that my family would love to be a part of that, and my dad would love to help.
So you
out
haven't
with that.
visited any of these centers?
I've never been to the Teen Challenge in India, but I've been to India 6 times. But I'm hoping to within the next year to be a part of helping launch Teen Challenge in Punjab.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what were your visits to India like? Share some of those experiences.
It was really fun, you know.
Because you're brought up here and mixed cultures, and how are you adapting to those kind
Absolutely. So I haven't been to India in 10 years. But before that, I went every 2-3 years, and I just remember the cultural differences. Like where we lived, here they had toilets. I remember them. They didn't have the proper toilet systems, but some places did. But I remember going to the big cities, and it was just really fun. Like just how, like my family from India, how simplest. Like they live so simply, and they weren't all caught up in this North American stuff. But you go now, and man, India has everything.
I know.
It almost seems like sometimes they're further advanced than our country here.
So Robby, hold on to that thought, and we'll be right back. Dear viewers, we'll take a very short break, and we'll be back.